lovelies, you're welcome back again to my channel. Good morning, my amazing people. Good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time. I remain your favorite baby girl, Anointed Lady TV. If you are new to this channel, you are highly welcome. If you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for tuning in. And if you have been watching, you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for, guys? Please kindly hit that red button where they wrote subscribe and also put on the notification bell so you will be getting more updates from this channel. Let's watch this video below, guys. I will be right back.
A petition by some groups and individuals calling for sanctions against Nigerian government officials over the shooting of protesters and gross human rights abuses. Members of Parliament had pressed the British government to adopt individualized sanctions, such as travel bans and access freezing against officials found culpable. But in its reaction to the debate at the Commons, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, held the view that the lawmakers do not speak for the British government, adding that it was necessary to give the United Kingdom Nigeria's own position to enable them have a balanced perspective. Well, here to discuss all this and more is a former Undersecretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and former Nigerian envoy to France, Ambassador Akin Fayomi. Welcome to the show, Ambassador Fayomi. Good to have you on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you very much indeed. Very quickly, I would like you to help us make sense of what transpired in the Petitions Committee of the House of Commons, discussing human rights abuses in Nigeria with reference to petition by over 200,000 Nigerians over the NSAS protest and the incident at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos on October 20, 2020. Many Nigerians are concerned about this. Some are excited. Some say, well, it doesn't really matter. What do you think?
Dr. Abati, thanks again. This is the beauty of democracy, which the British Parliament is teaching us. You can see that even as far away as we are in Nigeria, what goes on here concerns them over there. In other words, the world is a global village, and we cannot be in isolation. And they felt that it's important to discuss, to debate the petition after it has been signed by people there, over 220,000, as you said. And some people think that what is the business of the UK in our affairs? I don't agree with that, because it just shows that, look, we are not an ocean, an island in an ocean. Our people are complaining. This NSAS protest started well, but it ended very badly, and the repression and all that. So the British took it upon themselves to debate it. And the proceedings, we've all seen it. We watched some of the video, we have the report, shows that not a threat, but it could lead to them, that is the parliamentarians, are advising the British government to impose sanctions on some of our officials or the police. I've heard it said also that it doesn't really matter. But I don't think we can shrug off something like that. It's not a threat. They don't talk for the British government, like Foreign Minister Onyama said, but they have a lot of importance, within the British. The Prime Minister of Britain is a member of Parliament, and which is different from our own presidential system. So he has to listen to what the parliamentarians are saying, and so that will influence negatively, the action that Britain might want to take against Nigeria if we treat it with levity.
While it is true that the Petitions Committee in the House of Commons voted in favor of international sanctions against individuals and entities in Nigeria, we are also told that it is a non-binding vote. What is a non-binding vote? Does it mean that at the end of the day, no process may be initiated, and that whatever may have transpired in that Petitions Committee may have no legal weight?
No, not at all. It's not binding, but it's cautionary. From what I saw in the video, even the British government sent a minister, the Minister for Africa, to listen to the debate, and then to be able to give government's view about it. So it's not non-binding, you are right, but at the same time, the government listens to its parliamentarians, so that could make a decision easier for them to take, even if necessary. And don't forget too that our government here too, we didn't take it lightly. Minister Onyema said that we have already reached out to the UK, trying to get a balanced position. Trying to say that the debate was a bit skewed in favor of the petitioners, and that is only one side of the story. So we also have to, that is our Nigerian government, also have to engage with the UK to present our own position to get a balanced view. That will also help. In other words, the parliamentarians have started a process which can lead to sanctions if we are not careful. At the same time, if we present our own balanced view, and the British government can take a look at that and arrive at a decision. So it's non-binding, but it's cautionary, and it's important in the UK.
But how do international sanctions work? And what kind of sanctions are we looking at? And when we're told that these sanctions will target individuals and entities, well, how do you protect the country itself, Nigeria, from suffering vicariously from those sanctions?
Sometimes sanctions that are imposed have a salutary effect on the country because it brings some normalcy. You recollect that during the elections of Ondo State and Edo State, the UK and the US also came up with this idea that whoever is instigating violence or sponsoring violence might be sanctioned. That means they can deny you visas, they can close your bank accounts abroad, they can seize your properties abroad. So that is the kind of sanction. So it might not be that Nigeria itself is sanctioned, it will be individuals that are found guilty. And I think that we have to wait for the outcome of the panels of inquiry that have been set out by all the various states, particularly the one in Lagos State, so that if the army is found culpable, we know that there is a brigadier general that led them, he has a name, so that he can be sanctioned. In other words, he can be denied access to the UK and EU or the US henceforth. If he has accounts abroad, it will be frozen. If he has even children abroad, they will be expelled. So sanctions take various forms, but they actually do work. And you can see I used the Edo and Ondo elections. You can see how peaceful it went because the politicians knew that if they sanction them, it means that's the end of your movement to go for hospital treatments abroad or to send your children abroad and all that. So they are quite effective, the sanctions.
Well, but is there an international protocol in place for seeking redress?
Yes, you see, each country has the right to admit whoever he wants into his own country. There's no doubt about that. So even if there's no international legal treaty or law, I have the right to refuse you entry into my country, even if you have, if you think you have justification. So each country has the right to do that. You cannot go to any court to seek redress and say the British have banned me from coming to UK, they've seized my assets and all that. At best, they will just tell you that you are a person of, a politically exposed person, PEP, and they will tell you to close your accounts and carry it somewhere else. They have the very right to do that.
Well, but it's not only in the UK that concern has been expressed about the hashtag NSAS protests in Nigeria. Also in Canada, the Canadian Parliament, the Committee on Human Rights and International Development, had a special session on Nigeria. And one of the Nigerians who took part in that NSAS protest, the lady known as DJ Switch, Catherine Obianoju Ude, appeared before that committee and made certain presentations, eyewitness account from our own perspective of what happened. Now, what are the implications of all of this? UK Parliament, Canadian Parliament, talking about human rights abuses in Nigeria. Do you think that this has a corresponding effect on the image of the country and particularly the Buhari administration?
Indeed, it does. Indeed, it's unfortunate that Nigeria is getting this international attention for negativity. We wish it's for celebrations and achievements. That's the wish of all Nigerians. But for us to be debated in Canada, debated in the UK, and it also has effects with the whole of the EU and all that. It's unfortunate. It's actually chipping away at our credibility and at our image abroad. It's not something that any nation wants to be in the limelight for. Human rights abuse, genocide, war crimes, and all that. Nobody wants that. We want to be seen to achieve maybe invention of vaccine for COVID-19 and all that stuff. But to be carried around the world, debated around the world about, it's not a good image for the administration that is in government right now, I must say. And then also some of the utterances of our officials in government also do not warrant, threats and all that. I think it calls for more of engagement. It just shows that the NSAS protest, you can't wish it away, you can't sweep it under the carpet. This means government has to engage more. There must be some conciliatory form of engagement instead of brick bats that are being thrown around right now. So it's not good for our image internationally. It's not.
Well, when the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, says that the Nigerian government is reaching out to the UK government, he didn't provide details, although I'm aware that the Vice President met with two officials of the UK government in the course of this. But of what value is that? And do you think that the Nigerian government is adopting the right approach? Although one other minister more or less said that the parliamentarians in the UK were just talking nonsense.
You are right. I think I would prefer the approach of Minister Onyema. Reaching out to the British government shows that, look, we've heard what your parliamentarians said. We want to give you a balanced view. Maybe we have our own videos, or we give you the report of our commissions of inquiry when they finished. That's the approach that nations use. It is not in the interest of Nigeria to, because like I said earlier on, we have business with all these countries. We have trade, we have cultural, we have consular, we have diplomatic relations. So we cannot just ignore when they tell us something like that internationally. And don't forget, it has a roller coaster effect. If the UK starts it, you have said it yourself, Dr. Bati, the Canadians also went on about it. It can go to Germany next, it can go to Italy, depending on where people send it. So the approach of engaging, I think that's the best approach, and I think that's what the Minister of Foreign Affairs was saying. Indeed, he didn't provide too much details, but he said they want to give a balanced view of what the Nigerian government is doing, and I think that's the Commission of Inquiries that is probing, that will bring out the issue. Yes, the VP met with the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, from the UK, an envoy, plus the British High Commissioner in Nigeria. Actually, it was for a different purpose, I'm sure, but then the parliamentarian sanction issue came up, and the VP also was assuring them that they will share with the UK, a balanced report when we get it from the commissions of inquiry that are taking place right now.
Well, Ambassador Fayome, you served in France, where protest seems to be a part of the culture, the tradition of the people. Even as we speak, many young French, citizens are on the streets protesting instructively against police conduct, police brutality, if I may use that word, which is the phrase we use here in Nigeria, but police performance. But here in Nigeria, the Inspector General of Police says that what happened with the hashtag NSAS protest or similar protests will no longer be allowed here in Nigeria under his watch. Is that the right thing to say under a democratic dispensation?
If indeed the Inspector General of Police said that, it's very, very, very unfortunate, because you cannot, it's the fundamental human rights of every one of us, Dr. Abati, and myself included, to carry placards and protest at any time we want to protest, as long as it is done peacefully. In fact, sometimes, like in France, you mentioned, the Yellow Jacket protest went on for more than a year, and we didn't see where anybody was shot or live bullets used. There are many other ways of containing protests, even when they become violent. But the right to protest, it's embedded in the constitution for every Nigerian and every citizen of any country. But as long as you do it peacefully, yes, indeed. So the IGP cannot say they will never allow that again. I'm sure he will come out to say he has been misquoted or something. But I know that definitely. Like in France, like you mentioned, the police accompanies protesters. As long as you don't go beyond your bounds, they accompany you. And I remember that even when the NSAS started, some policemen were involved, even handing out water, handing out food, and all that to the protesters until it was more or less hijacked by hoodlums. So the right to protest is common. In fact, that's the way to go in advanced countries, because you have they know that it's part of your fundamental human rights. You are just exercising it. So I don't think the IGP or any power here.
About the right to protest.
Yes, indeed. I was saying that the right to protest is fundamentally enshrined in the Constitution. So there's no way that the IGP can ban protests. He can only say you protest peacefully, or he can even accompany protesters with policemen to guide them and to make sure that they don't go beyond their boundaries. Don't forget here that in Nigeria, most of the protests will start well, but then they are hijacked by, in quotes, hooligans and hoodlums. And we now get looting, and I don't think the NSAS protest, they wanted to be looting and burning properties. No, that was not the reason for the protest, So it could be hijacked or it was hijacked, but all over the world, protests are allowed and they are done peacefully. And if they become violent, they are dispersed with water cannons and the sorts, not live bullets.
Well, I mean, as a diplomat who has served Nigeria in various missions across the world, and as someone who worked within the public service system for a very long time, the big issue we're dealing with here is the role of youths in national development, the alienation of the average Nigerian youth from the governance process. It doesn't look like, the Nigerian government has been able to find a solution to how to properly integrate Nigerian youths. The youth made 5 demands. Government says, okay, we respect your 5 demands. But what do you think can be done to make sure that young Nigerians begin to have a sense of hope about tomorrow and a sense of belonging, that they are truly citizens?
Yes, thank you again. I think sometimes the ball is in the court of the two sides. Let's take the NSAS protest for an example. Who are the leaders of the protest? They use the social media. They don't have, say, this is the chairman, this is the secretary, this is who will government negotiate with when you have no association, nothing institutionalized. So it becomes difficult for government to say, come to the table and let us talk. That's number one. The youth, we have many youth organizations. Demographically, Nigeria has about 70% or so of people classified as youth. That means under the age of 35. I think that's what the United Nations says. Though it makes me laugh sometimes here in Nigeria when somebody who is 50 or 60 says is a youth leader. So you wonder then what is the definition of youth? So what I'm saying in effect is that the youth themselves, they own the country. They should take the mantle of leadership. How do they do that? They have to form associations whereby they can engage government. Government cannot talk to ghosts or talk to you on social media. There must be committees set up, and the youths themselves must be represented. I think the Lagos State government in the Commission of Inquiry that they set up, ensured that apart from CSOs that were put in the committee, they also have members of youth organizations. So at least they will have a voice to be able to talk. But I believe that the youth themselves, have to have, we are not talking of NANS, like National Association of Nigerian Students, that's in the university and all that. But there must be some form, either under the NLC, under the trade union, that will be a youth organization that government will recognize and government will be able to call upon, if there is any unrest like we had, and say, look, control your members. Let them not go outside the range of peaceful protest. But there are really no... I said it because I tried to engage somebody in government, and they was asking me, Payomi, please point to somebody that I can talk to, that we can put on the table and discuss with. And I could not. Most of these people that were on social media, they deliberately did that without having a head or secretary, so that nobody, and I can understand them. But at the same time, there must be somebody that government will engage with. As of now, there is really nobody you can point to and say that this is the representative of the NSAS protest or of the youth that we all know own this country, because they are the leaders of tomorrow.
Well, before we wrap this up, let's go back to where we started, the sanctions. Now, I mean, as a diplomat, a retired diplomat, what kind of strategy do you think that the Nigerian government should adopt in the face of this, moral support from the UK, as it were, the representation in the Canadian Parliament, the concern that has been expressed by the European Union? What do you think should be the strategy? I guess diplomacy is also about strategy. What would be the best strategy going forward so that the Buhari administration does not get, labeled, as it is happening, as an administration that is oppressing its own people?
The own people. Yes, you are very right. I like the word, the phrase you use, moral support. Because that's the right attitude to take. We should not see all these debates in the UK, in Canada, in the EU, and all that. We should not see them as interference in our domestic affairs. Some people are thinking like that. That is wrong. It's a support they are trying to give us. You have a problem with your people. How do we come in? And I also appreciated the fact that it's our people in the diaspora that started the petitions, and over 220 that was gathered in the UK alone led to the parliamentarians debating it. That's the way to go about it. We have to have a reapproachment. Our government has to be much more in a much more healthy relationship with partners all over the world. We don't have to wait until something has happened and then we use the fire brigade approach. Sometimes it's good to say, look, like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you can call a meeting of all the diplomats that are in Nigeria, the heads of mission in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and say, look, we had end protests. We have already established commissions of inquiry. Please tell your government, please tell your people that the Nigerian government is listening and they are trying to do something about it. We are working on it. We don't have to be on the defensive at every time. If we already engage, even before people start criticizing us, you find out that we have less bad press, in that respect. So my suggestion will be a strategy of reapproachment, which means that engage with your partners all over the world, even before issues get out of hand, and then you now start making threats or being on the defensive. You don't have to be on the defensive if you are in good standing with the rest of your partners.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you do, please don't forget to give this video a huge thumb up. Leave your comment down below what you think about the video, and also share. Please always share the video whenever you watched, and don't forget to like. Very important, like the video and leave your comment down below. I really appreciate as many that have been supporting me. I just want to let you know that I love you all. I remain once again your humble girl, Anointed Lady TV. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for, my amazing people? Please support me and help this channel grow. Support me by subscribing and also put on the notification bell so you'll be getting more updates from this channel. Till I come your way again. I love you all. Bye bye.